This is the Great Legend, and I'm coming at you live tonight with Mandela Effect. Theories from quantum reality. These are going to be theories for the Mandela Effect that were told to me by a YouTuber named QuantumReality. QuantumReality, he doesn't have any videos. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but he has many theories on the Mandela Effect. Now, I've heard most of these theories before and I've researched them myself, but YouTube user QuantumReality breaks them down to where everyone can understand them. And tonight, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about those theories. And I was going to do a Mandela Effect video probably Saturday. I may hold off on that. I was going to go over some just more effects, so some of you out there that may not know what the Mandela Effect is, well, it's a worldwide phenomenon that thousands and thousands of people are waking up to each and every day, waking up to this new reality, this quantum reality, if you will. And it's some pretty intense stuff, for the first folks that are just waking up. Everyone wants to know what's causing this. How can this be? How can these things change from my own memories? Well, I don't have all the answers, and I don't think many people do, but there is many theories out there, and as long as folks help each other, it can put each other's minds at ease, because if you're going through the Mandela Effect, you're not the only one going through this. So we're going to take a look at the chat. The chat is hopping right now. There's a bunch of people in the chat that want to know what these theories from the YouTuber QuantumReality are going to be. And also, if you want to subscribe to his channel or check him out, or send him a PM if you want to talk about some of these theories, he'll be glad to talk to you about them. He's shared some stuff with me, and I'm going to share what he shared with me. God dang, and I'm going to share it with you. Excuse me, but first, let's check out all the people that are here. It's 1:10 Central Standard, so we don't have a lot of people awake. But some of you that are awake right now, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're watching the Great Legend show tonight. And not only are some of you awake as far as you're not sleeping, but you're awake in a sense that you have awakened to this worldwide phenomenon. Now, I'm going to show up the chat here. We got a lot of action in the chat, so I'm going to have to go back through the chat and let you know who all is here. And we're going to talk about the Mandela Effect. Big shout out to the uncanny Kyle Walker. He's from New Zealand. In my memories, New Zealand was actually southeast of Australia. Or was it northeast? See, it's flip-flopping back and forth. I don't even know where the hell New Zealand is. It'd be down there in freaking Antarctica. But it's not where I remember where it was. We got Jason Smith right here. And then, man, in my reality, he had more people watching his auction. But in this reality, not many people are watching his auction. You know what I'm saying? So, Jason Smith, you need to bring some of those items onto the Legends Live auction, and then we'll get you down. And when you get the presence known, then they go to your channel and they'll look at that auction, because this current reality, no one's watching that show. Now, Brian Spaceboy 227 is in the house. Good to see Brian there. Uncanny Kyle Walker, like I said, is here. It's good to see him. Don the Icon Comic Junkie is here. Comic Book Junkie. Miss Hustle, one of Larry's ladies, is here. Miss Hustle, it's great to see you here. And we're just going to move right along. We got LP. We got Rebel Gaming. He's like, not in my reality. See, everyone's realities are confused. Uncanny Kyle Walker likes that. You know what I'm saying, Walker. Kyle knows. Kyle knows about them auctions. Y'all, let me know how you like this broadcast. I've got a new webcam coming this Sunday, I believe. It's like a 1080p webcam, but I always down convert to 720p anyways, speed up the stuff. Hopefully that webcam, will look a lot clearer, look a lot sharper, runs a lot better. I think it'll be a USB 3.0 webcam, so that should improve speed and things like that. But sometimes I find when I'm doing live streams, my mouth moves a little slower than the video, or vice versa. It's like off. So I've got my Yeti Blue mic, I just don't have it plugged in tonight. But anyway, so what we're going to do, I want to share a little bit about these theories, and I'm kind of jumping ahead in what I wanted to do for some of my Mandela effect videos. I wanted to kind of give you more examples of things that have changed and things like that. But a lot of you out there that have awoken and the veil has been lifted, you already know about all these different changes that have been happening. Whether it be Tom Cruise not wearing the sunglasses anymore when he slides and does the underwear dance, and he's got a different color shirt on, or the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz has a freaking revolver, and crazy stuff like that. Anyway, I'm not going to go over all those. We'll take a look at some of those maybe this weekend or maybe next week. We'll look at some of the new effects and even things like the skunk, like an animal, or things like animals that you've never seen before until you awoke in this new reality. So we're going to take a look at some of these theories from quantum reality. In my last video, my introduction video of the Mandela effect, he was really great on giving some ideas and everything. And so I'm pleased to share some of these theories with you. And if you agree or disagree, let me know in the chat. And some of you that are watching this on the rewind, comment in the video down below if you're watching it on the rewind. But give us some comments and let us know maybe some of your theories or what you think could be the cause of the Mandela effect. You think it could be CERN and their Large Hadron Collider, their particle accelerator? You think it could be the D-wave quantum computers? Well, we know that CERN actually has the newest D-wave quantum computer, the 4096, the 4000 qubit computer that they're running in sequence with the Large Hadron Collider to do all kinds of stuff out at CERN. And I want to tell you, the World Wide Web was created at CERN. I don't have my iPhone, but when you pinch on the screen where you can like pinch to zoom out or like move your fingers to zoom in. Well, Steve Jobs says, when he showed the iPhone, he's like, hey, we created this here. Actually, 2 companies created it before. I don't remember the first company because who cares about them, right? But the second company in the 70s that created that kind of technology on a bigger screen was CERN. Also, CERN created the World Wide Web, right? Well, in Hebrew, the letter W is a 6. So www could also be interpreted in CERN's eyes as 666. And we're going to talk about CERN probably in a later video because they have a lot to do with a lot of stuff. But like I said, we're going to finally get to some theories. Let me check the comments a little bit. We got Gerald Gilbert. I was playing Injustice 2 earlier, Gerald, and I didn't see you on there, but you need to get that Injustice 2 game. Quit playing that one game you've been playing. I don't even know what it was. Maybe it was Marvel something or other, some Marvel superheroes stuff. Anyway, so the chat is hopping, and I'm glad y'all are all here. So I'm going to close this chat down. I'm going to read these to you. These are by Quantum Reality, and this was posted 6 days ago on my video called Mandela Effect, my introduction. And I'm going to add that video link to the video description after this video. So if you want to see my introduction to the Mandela Effect and see all the folks that commented, and all the it got a great response, and we hope to have some more great responses in the future for this line of Mandela Effect videos and just truth videos of the future that we have to look forward to, whether that be more Mandela effects or artificial intelligence or whatever. Times are changing. So let me read some of these to you. Okay. 6 days ago, I was contacted. These initially went into the spam folder, so I had to approve these comments. And this is from a guy named QuantumReality. And he goes like this. I offer the following for your review. It is a little verbose, but an easy read. I'm going to proceed as if most will understand the concepts I'm using. So a lot of you out there that know about the Mandela effect, you've researched some theories. We are familiar with superstring theory. We are told the math used to explain the superstring theory reveals a code that is identical to, nor not similar, this is identical to the autocorrection code used in computer web browsers. Now we know this because this is something that James Gates, a guy that studies string theory, who's really big into string theory, he analyzed string theory code, down to the freaking quantum level, and he found what looked to be computer code. Now this is from, I'm telling you like this, I've researched this, and it was computer code that looked like and was identical to autocorrection code in computer web browsers. A lot of times you can right click on your website and you can go to inspect element and you can see all the coding of the actual website itself. This is some string theory. Now this is from QuantumReality here. Now we know how to sync a browser from one computer to another computer. All history, bookmarks, favorites, passwords, etc. can be imported into a browser on a different computer browser that had nothing in it, So if my boy Rebel Gaming got a new computer and he's taking stuff that's on the cloud from a web browser that's saved maybe in Google Chrome, and he loads that up, Chromebooks have this as well, so you can have all your Chrome settings on any Google Chrome browser on any computer. And originally that computer browser has nothing on it at all. So you turn off the first computer and then turn on the second computer, and then you sync the browser and everything is there, just the way you left it on the other computer before. Now get this, bear with me now. Remember, I posted that quantum memories may be influencing reality. So, say we substitute computer browser settings with quantum memories. It would be the memories that were transferred, the memories that were imported into that new computer. How about the memories? The old memories of the great legend were imported into this new great legend, into his memories, kind of like a web browser. This would help explain why so many things are different from what we remember, especially if more than one browser, aka more than one reality, was synced. Say there was multiple realities. This even explains why there are 7.5 billion people on this earth, on this current reality, opposed to the 6 billion on the earth that I recall. This could even explain why, even though we are no longer in the Sagittarius arm of the galaxy, the constellations are similar, along with the differences with geography, history, anatomy, etc. Now, a lot of us believe in the Mandela effect. We know things in geography have moved. New Zealand has moved. Their history, JFK's assassination, for instance. A lot of us remember 4 people in the car. Now there's 6 in the car. And it looks like Jackie pulled the damn trigger, stuck the gun under his head, pulled the trigger, put the gun behind their back seat. Or anatomy. How the heart, remember the heart, we all remember the heart used to, well, people of the Mandela effect, we remember the heart used to be on the left side. For instance, when we sing, the Star Spangled Banner, we put our hand right here because our heart used to be here, right? Well, in this reality, it's more in the center, behind the rib cage. It's truth. The shift may have been accomplished by an outside entity, multi-dimensional being. The entity may not be a resident of time and space as we know it. It could be outside of the simulation. Now here quantum reality is going into what could be a theory of we're living in a simulated reality, whether that be like the Matrix movies or even holodeck experiences, if you remember Star Trek The Next Generation. Now remember, using the superstring and the syncing the browser themes I mentioned before, we are told that at the subquantum level, that particles are comprised of strings. These strings vibrate with all matter having its own frequency. So here we kind of go into things like DC Comics, Cisco Ramon, Vibe. You know, I told Trinity Comics, and he don't really play much into this. He don't have the Mandela effect going on. But I told him a lot of things that happens in DC Comics, or even on the Flash TV show, like their particle accelerator. That stuff CERN actually already has. That stuff you see on television, or you've seen in movies, that you think is science fiction. But in actuality, it is in our reality. So, if you do, like I told you before, if you do a right click on a browser, say Firefox or whatnot, and you can expect the element, and quantum reality, he says he uses this job every day. He uses this feature in his job every day. All the code and much else can be viewed as how the page is constructed. So looking down in that code, you can see how it's constructed, how it appears to the human eye, and what code they use to write that web page. Now, using an interface, say a machine, apparatus, or whatever we're talking, super science here, it could be, like I said, quantum computers, CERN's, LHC, it could be anything, to view these frequencies of matter in reality. So instead of looking at code, the superstring theory and all this is looking at matter itself, you know, how things are put together. You know, if you look at wood, or you look at particle board, or MDF, microdensity fiber board, everything is put together with a lot of sawdust, a lot of glue, and what matter is what is that glue? What is holding all that together? What is holding the cotton and the fibers and all the stuff to the quantum reality? What's holding all that together to keep this hat from coming off my head? What is that stuff? Macros could be employed to select certain frequencies and corresponding harmonics. So maybe those of us experiencing this reality shift phenomenon have frequencies, harmonics in common with each other at the subquantum level. For whatever reason, our frequencies were mapped and met the parameters of what frequencies to be, just like saved, imported, synced, bookmarks, web settings, things like that. Saved, imported, synced, and deployed in this reality. This is an excellent, excellent example of string theory and how you can relate things that people like James Gates has seen, and you can look him up on YouTube. And he compares that to with what could be the cause of the Mandela effect. Now, those involved in metaphysics have been suggesting something similar, and quantum reality says, I've tried to investigate this from a science angle. These may be converging theories, so I'm thinking there actually may be something to the frequency posted. Isn't that very interesting? Now, I'm going to take it back, and I'm going to check the chat and see some of you out there that have the Mandela effect. And what's really cool is, remember those keywords about frequency, like the people that have the Mandela effect, the people that have woken up, how thousands of people all can see or all can remember memories, and they can see differences in this current reality that they have never seen before until they awoken up to the Mandela effect. Now, let's check the chat real quick and see what's going on in the chat. And is your minds just blown? Isn't that amazing? Jason Smith is so classic. Wait, who's Gerald? No, it ain't the son of Gerald. It's Gerald Gilbert. Oh, no name, no name. You don't understand how long I've been waiting for this. No name has been a big advocate of some of these Mandela effect videos. And so is Balbito Chicon. I think it's CERN. It's holographic. Light. Mr. Nice Guy 23. Think it's alien Jesus is coming for a second Exodus. And there is a lot of biblical implications in that last book of the Bible that lets us know things like this that are happening in the world today is stuff that they warned about in the book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible. Now, a lot of Christians out there, I don't want to give any names, but a lot of Christians that haven't awoken up yet to the Mandela effect or don't really believe in it because their realities have always been the way they are. You know, they're stagnant. And that's cool, you know. That's very cool because they don't really have to worry about anything. You know, in Isaiah 11, verse 6, chapter 11, verse 6, in my reality, in my original reality that I'm from, it said, and the lion shall lay with the lamb. That's King James Version. King James Version, of course, written in 1611. I remember that verse vividly growing up. We had to learn Bible verses for Sunday school. And the lion shall lay down with the lamb. In this reality today, if you turn even your oldest Bible, your grandmother's 1965 Bible, that verse will say, and the wolf shall lay down with the lamb. The lamb being the young of a sheep. Now, we all know the wolf is a predator of the sheep. That seems a little bit like a blasphemous kind of verse to me. An altered verse to this reality we're in. Very scary to think about that the Bible could be changed from one reality to the other reality. You ever heard of the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Notice how I said on earth as it is in heaven, like on the earth, like we're standing on the earth, on earth as it is in heaven. If you open up your Bibles today, that verse is going to say, not on earth, it says in earth. In earth. Now, that's not what I remember. And in earth kind of sounds like what's in the middle of the earth is the earth's core, where it's very hot. And on that spiritual plane of inside the earth's core, the spiritual plane of the earth's core, you got to think in multiple levels of dimensions. Whereas the dimension we're in, the one we see with our own eyes, and keep in mind, the stuff we see out there in reality, we don't even see like 90% of the stuff because matter is made up of things that you can't see with the physical eye, things you can't hear with the physical ear, things you can't taste, things you can't feel. It's just there. Think about the force or something. It's all around us, but we're only actually seeing 10%. So if you think about things in a spiritual way or spiritual enlightenment, and you believe, that there is the astral plane, could, very well, be one of the other dimensions, but you look at the dimension, of course, of heaven, the dimension, spiritual dimensions of heaven and hell, things like that. In earth, to me, sounds like they're talking about the spiritual dimension of hell, that bottomless pit. So it's something very interesting to think about. But yep, a lot of action going on in the chat. No Name says, this is so crazy. Hell yeah, it is, man. It's really crazy. So, now, with that being said, that could be one of the theories. And we're going to look at two more of the comments QuantumReality left. Okay? And we're going to see what he says. Now that was 6 days ago when he started talking string theory. And I want to tell you something fun. and very interesting. Before we get into anything, I want to talk to you a little bit about, I mean, it's really intense and it's really quite crazy. November 2016, my good friend William Thor, he awoke me to this quantum effect. And I've never told anyone this, but I've got some stuff, and I haven't done this yet. The way he did it was, he told me about the JFK assassination. And I actually have a family member. It's my dad's first cousin. And I don't want to give a lot of this information away. And some of you may not even really believe this. And that's okay. But she was a technical advisor on Oliver Stone's JFK movie. She used to be a singer at a nightclub right across from the Jack Ruby nightclub. And and she was actually on the grass filming with the camera. Oh man, I don't need to give you all this information, I don't think. I can't give you this because I don't want y'all bothering my dad's first cousin. Well, you can look it up anyway. All right, so I'm just going to call her my cousin Beverly, my second cousin Beverly. She's still alive today. In some circles of the JFK conspiracy, she is actually known as the Babushka Lady. Now, she ain't Russian. Now, she was dressed kind of weird, where people could say, just because she had a headscarf on and kind of a long coat and everything. But anyway, I'm going to let you do your own homework on that. But I've never Facebooked her. I've got her on my Facebook. I've never Facebooked her and asked her anything about the Mandela effect. I just think that she's done books on the JFK assassination. I just think that her mind is going to be what this current reality is, because she's so centered on a lot of that JFK stuff. I don't know. I may ask her one of these days. I don't really want to bother her with it, because she does a lot of Christian and church and gospel and singing, things like that. I don't really want to bother her. And a lot of you out there may not even think, y'all may think I'm bullshitting there, and that's okay. I don't have to have your approval or anything, but maybe one of these days I might get the guts to ask her about some of this Mandela effect stuff. And if she remembers it being 4 or 6, I may do what William said. Can you tell me how many people were in the JFK car? Because she was filming it. She was right there. She loves Kevin Costner too. Big friends with Kevin Costner. And y'all, I've never really messed with y'all on that or told y'all any of that, but every time Kevin Costner comes to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, he invites her to see his band play, and she always tells the stories about, getting on his big touring bus, and just having fun and visiting with him. So that's kind of cool. I think that's pretty awesome. But anyway, that's a whole nother story for a different day. And plus, I need to talk to her about that. Let me check the chat one more time real quick before I go into this next theory. Miss Hustle. See, Miss Hustle, she may think I'm bullshitting. But, when I do these kind of videos, these are truth videos. I have nothing to prove or anything like that. I'm not just building my repertoire up. You want to see the great legend do his thing, that kind of style. You watch the video games, the comic books, bring it like that. I could get on Facebook and show you, but I don't feel comfortable showing personal family stuff. You know what I mean? But if you want, you can look her up. God, should I give you the last name? I'm not going to give you the last name because I don't want her to get trolled or anything like that, on Facebook. But Cousin Beverly. Okay. Yeah, Miss Hustle's just trying to understand. And some of you may just not have been woken up to this. And some of you are really young. I mean, a lot of you may be younger, or you may be in the millennial range, where a lot of millennials aren't going to see any Mandela effect changes whatsoever. Mainly it's Gen Xers and baby boomers. But let's look at something else here. Quantum Reality, 2 days ago, left another cryptic comment, cryptic theories. And he goes like this. If my last submission was of interest to you, I offer the following for you to review. It's a little long, but not redundant. Now, this is one I've known about for a very long time because it's happened to me, I would probably say, about 30 years. I'm 40. From the few surveys that have been conducted, there are two major groups experiencing the quantum shift phenomenon. Now, one group, 50 to 60%, have tinnitus or some form of ringing in the ears. Okay? Those with high empathy, this is number two, this is the number two group, and those with high empathy, 30 to 35%. Now, both of these groups can overlap, meaning one person can have both conditions. That makes up 80 to 95% of the respondents. With that being said, there's a particular peculiarity separating these two groups. Now, for group one, memories are inviolate, meaning the suspected butterfly effect, meaning the suspected butterfly effect does not alter the memory. The things you see, the folks that have woken up, the things you're currently seeing, these things, and these are for everyone out there, but this is group one, these things you see out in reality, whether it be JCPenney, spelled JCPENNEY, how it's spelled in this reality, or Fruit Loops in this reality being spelled FROOT. In my reality, it was JCPENNY, and it was FRUIT, okay? But listen, hear me out here. Meaning the suspected butterfly effect, aka the suspected change, does not alter the original memory. Henceforth, the Mandela effect. It's not going to alter the quantum effect, quantum reality. It's not going to alter that original memory you had. You'll have both memories, the one you had from before and the one you have now in this timeline. Check this out. When I was a kid, used to love watching Johnny Quest. Used to come on Saturday mornings. Damn, that sounded Canadian. Hey? No, Johnny Quest, Saturday mornings. And Johnny Quest on the commercials and everything in the books, it was spelled Johnny, Johnnny, Johnny, Johnnny, Johnny Quest. Y'all remember Johnny Quest, right? Well, in this reality, it's spelled Jonny, Jonny without the H. And if you want, you can go on eBay, you can look up old school Silver Age Johnny Quest books, and they will be spelled Jonny, reflecting this new reality. New reality to me, current reality for the folks that don't believe in the Mandela effect. It's just the reality they've always known. So, the person's memory stays intact regardless of any changes to physical reality. Now, group two, this is the different group, the empathy group. Memory can be affected, but only by the memories of the merging realities. Memory can be affected, but only by the memories of the merging realities. Hear me out. Now, for group two, what does this mean? The person will still be aware of the quantum shift phenomenon. They'll be aware of this whole Mandela effect, the quantum shift phenomenon. But the memory is then altered. That memory is altered by the merging of other realities. Such as, say a person lived in Detroit. Cheap pop for any of y'all folks living out in Detroit. Before the existence of Lake St. Clair, the person's memory would be updated to accept Lake St. Clair as being perfectly normal, but would still agree with you with this theory, this thing. Life is like a box of chocolates. Of course, in this reality, life was like a box, but they're going to agree with you. Life is like a box of chocolates because they've heard it a lot. A lot of folks will say, well, that's misquoted. the movie, when Forrest Gump is sitting on the bench, he says, life was like a box of chocolates. Our reality, folks that believe in the Mandela effect, the quantum shift theory, it was always life is like a box of chocolates. So here's the thing. Those with high empathy, those that care, that are experiencing the quantum shift phenomenon, they're susceptible to having their memories supplanted with memories not included in the consensus memory, but which may be numerically significant to alter the physical reality. Okay? Pretty deep, right? So those people that care, they'll agree, but those people don't see the Mandela effect. They don't see the quantum effect. It's just always been that way for them. But they will agree with some things you say. Alternate physical realities. It is my opinion that some others share that only those. Here's a good kicker. It is my opinion that some others share that only those with tinnitus, the ringing in the ears, are immune. This is very, very important, because a lot of us have the ringing in the ears, and I'm going to play a tone for you, a ringing in the ear tone that I hear at I want to say 5 kilohertz is kind of around what I hear. Now, I'm going to play it kind of loud so you can hear it. So you may want to turn the volume down, because when I hear it, it's really quiet. It's really quiet, but I can hear it. I can feel it in the ear. Okay? So, let me finish. It is my opinion that some others share that only those with tinnitus ringing in the ears are immune to having their memories altered. Some have suggested that the ringing in the ears is a broadcast signal that will prevent the memory in my mind from being altered. That's how I can retain, or this is the theory, this is how I retain all of those memories from my past reality, and they won't be altered. It may be that those responsible, CERN, for the broadcast want people to know that something has occurred. So that being said, when we hear that effect, and if CERN or whoever, the ones who's changing and opening up what these are, I tend to believe are quantum tunneling, Mandela portals, just real quick instances where the machine's on and realities merge, realities change. That maybe it is a physical attribute, and not everyone can experience the ringing. So some may have the Mandela effect, but they're not going to be able to experience the ringing in the ear. It may have something to do with the aural, AURAL range, where not everyone has the same radio frequency sensitivity. And you may remember that other one we were talking about, the radio frequency sensitivity, when we were talking about earlier with the string theory, and how on Earth there in sound and everything, and you're going to get more DC comics. What can I say? DC blows Marvel in the fucking water, because DC actually called a lot of this stuff, or did they? Or were they supplanted with things like Jeff Johns or George Perez or all these people? In their minds, they got these ideas from somewhere. Now I'm saying it could be from a higher power. It's from their consciousness themselves. Now hear me out. This is some great stuff here. That the Earth, and I believe multiple realities, all vibrate on different frequencies. How do you think vibe Cisco Ramon travels from Earth 1 to Earth 2? Well, he is vibrating on different frequencies, and then when he goes to these different Earths, he has to adjust his little goggles to that Earth's vibrational frequency. It's very interesting. I have had tinnitus over 30 years. Mine is high-pitched, like the small whistle used by a sailor to pipe a VIP aboard a vessel 1 to 2 times a month, he says. Now, he says 1 to 2 times a month. A second ringing event that is louder and is a couple of octaves higher. This lasts for about 20 to 30 seconds, fades, and then goes back to his accustomed ringing is back. So it's like me. I'm thinking he's saying, but 1 to 2 times a month, a second ringing event that is louder affects him. Now, these normal ringing events for me usually happen, for me, it's between about 10 to 20 seconds. He's saying 20 to 30 on the louder ones. For me, it's about 10 to 20. I hear these normally, if not every day, once a day, maybe once every other day. And a lot of times when I hear this is when things are seem not right. They don't seem right in my head. They seem something's off. And before I let you listen to one of these sounds, and any of you out there that have the Mandela effect or remember these things differently, I'm going to play a sound for you, and we're going to let you hear this, and we're going to see if we're kind of on the same thing. You know, if our minds are parallel and thinking the same thing. But first, I want to tell you another little theory about these quantum, if you will. And there's so much to tell you, and I'm not going to be able to get to you. That's why we're going to be talking about the Mandela effect, and we're going to be talking about some of these theories for weeks, months to come. As long as I'm on this earth, as long as I'm on this planet, I'm going to be bringing you these kind of videos because, one, I want you to be awoken. Two, if you're a Christian or you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ coming down to save you and dying on the cross from your sins, if you're a believer and you ever need to talk to me about anything, private message me. Hey, if you're a non-believer, if you're agnostic or atheist, door's always open. Private message me if you ever want to talk about any of these things I talk about, or if they're affecting you the same way they're affecting me. Because the thing is, it doesn't matter what religion you do. It don't matter if you're male or female. It don't matter what race, nationality, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, it affects millions of people. Well, maybe thousands. I don't know if everyone's awoken yet. I hope people get awakened. But hey, get this, CERN. It's the awake, nicknamed the awake machine, the God particle, the Higgs boson. I mean, so many things that CERN is doing, and the creator of D-Wave, old Gordy Rose over there. I wouldn't say he's the creator of all quantum computers, but he's the main guy behind D-Wave. A lot of the things that are going on that I'm seeing, and the Book of Revelation talked about, is happening today. Even artificial intelligence, which is going to be really huge. It's going to be amazingly huge. And I could throw out some dates, but I don't want to say different dates at the moment. I'll keep those to myself for a future video. But, okay, back to what I was talking about. So, once you get awoken up, and if you have the Mandela effect, I want you to hear me out. Me and my wife will be talking about something. And about a minute later, or it could be 30 minutes later, or maybe a couple hours later, we'll hear it on the radio or something will happen on the TV. We'll be talking, say, God, I'm trying to get something in my head that's come up recently. A lot of things have been happening at work where me and a coworker will be talking about something and then something happens. How about this one? So we check out hotspots at my library. Hotspots, Wi-Fi hotspots. They're by Sprint. You can take them anywhere, and as long as you have a signal up in space, you're going to get internet access. And then you turn the hotspot on, and up to 10 Wi-Fi devices can connect to these things and get internet. So we check those out. Actually, our library is pretty state of the art as we get kick-ass stuff. And I'm going to check the comments in a minute. I don't mean to keep going here. I will check the comments and go over some things with you and talk to some of the folks in the chat. But anyway, okay, so we check these things out. Some folks haven't been bringing them back. So folks with the last name H, I don't remember their names. I think it was possible. Well, I'm not going to give you their names. Anyway, it was a name that started with an H. So they brought back a hotspot, right? And it was a day late. We charged $5 a day if they're brought back late. So I had all we have forms, paper forms, where I can go through and write down that, okay, they turned the hotspot in, they turned the battery in, the SIM card's in there, the AC adapter plug is in there, the instruction manuals are in there. We have to go by a list and check them all off. because they have to bring back everything. And get this, after I'm done with that customer, put the $5 in the till. That means to register for you millennials. But someone comes in and they want to renew a hotspot. They can get a renewal. We'll check it out to them another 2 weeks. And guess what their last name was? It was the last name of an H. And I already had that paperwork right in front of me. It's kind of stuff like that. You'll talk about something and then you'll see something on a commercial. And I'm talking like, we'll say a word and then the damn thing pops up on TV like a minute later. A lot of those instances are happening a lot with me. And you can say it's fate or whatever you want, but I think it's, and I don't want to say anyone ain't smart or whatnot, but I think by being awake, all of my 5 senses are more adept to things that are going on around me. It's really amazing. It's kind of like I have like a higher power, and I'm not talking about, you know, the man upstairs or whatnot, but I feel like I have a little something extra. You know what I mean? Like a little something extra. And a lot of people with the Mandela effect are going to have that. And some people are scared by it. Some people obsess about it. I've seen a lot of different videos where people are angry about it, people are upset. But the way it is, and I've told y'all this in a variety of things, that you're the one in control, and you're the one that has the power to deal with any situation that you're put into. It's something called the power of will. The Green Lantern Corps, they know it very well. Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, Simon Boz, Jessica Cruz. More DC Comics, go figure. Like I said, everything that you're going to hear me talk about in some of these Mandela effects, we can easily relate them to DC Comics. Now, why that is, I really don't have a freaking clue. Very interesting, though. I think DC knocks it out of the park as far as, and I'm going comics here, I think DC knocks it out of the park as far as sci-fi, where it's bringing things that you thought could only happen in science fiction, but now we see those things in reality. And you may not believe in parallel realities, and there's so many cool things. There's so much freaking goodness I'm going to share with you as we go along this journey together. It's really amazing stuff, and I've done research, and I've watched some of the awesome folks like Anthony Patch, Kev Baker Show, William Thorne, just some of my favorites. QuantumReality, if you're out there watching, always drop me a line, and we're going to get your word out there every single time, because I appreciate the work you put in. And now I'm going to let that sound effect begin. So I'm going to bring this sound effect up for you. I'm going to go to YouTube to find this, because you can listen to a lot of different sounds and waves and frequencies of sounds. Okay, so we're going to do 5 kilohertz tone, and I'm going to try to find this for you. I think this is the one right here. I'm going to listen to it first and listen to see if this is the right one. Kind of. Let me listen to the 8,000. Woo! That one there. Jesus Christ. Lord help me. All right. That's a high-pitched one. I'm more used to the 5,000. Maybe well, I don't want to do 1,000 to 20,000. Now that one's the tone I hear. I'm going to play this one for you. Okay. Now, you're going to want to turn down your volume on this. I want you to turn the volume down kind of low. And imagine yourself hearing that tone. Now, you're going to hear this. So some of you may just legit have ringing of the ear, but folks that have the Mandela effect, you're going to want to listen to this. Okay, let me play this for you. Let me get it going here. Desktop audio's up. Get ready. Here we go. All right. So did you hear that? That is a 5 kilohertz tone. Now, if you turn that down, you turn it down and just kind of listen for the tone. Not necessarily listen to the loudness of the tone or the quietness of the tone, but the tone itself. Usually it happens in my right ear, but it has happened in both ears before, sometimes at the same time. Yeah, that's it. A lot of those kind of sound effects they test out. Now, I want to talk, we got Mr. Nice Guy 23, CERN is blinking lights and smoke and mirrors like NASA. All right, Logos, Nazarene. Thank you so much for subscribing and listening to the Great Legend Show tonight on the Mandela Effect. And if you are a new subscriber to the Mandela Effect, I'm going to try to do these videos about once a week, sometimes more if I really need to, let you know. Okay. And Miss Hustle says, you sure it's not related to lightheadedness? I do have lightheadedness from time to time. Mainly it's just because I'm exhausted. But it happens just when I'm doing a lot of work, where I'm not lightheaded. So very interesting. Now I'm going to play an 8 kilohertz or 8,000 hertz tone. Listen to this one. This is a louder tone. But some of us get tones, different kinds of tones. That was the 8,000 kilohertz, no, 8,000 hertz, 8 kilohertz. That is a tone that a lot of folks with the Mandela effect, a lot of people that are awake can hear these ringing of the ear type tones, okay? Now, what I'm going to do, big shout out to Mark 4 Comics, big Iron Man fan. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to read the last theory I have for you tonight by our good friend, QuantumReality. Okay? Now, this one was 1 day ago. He says, with your permission, I will submit the following. I've posted this on other Mandela Effect videos. Some have found the information agreeable. It is the small things, the everyday things that alerted people that something is wrong. Geography, history, anatomy, sacred text, aka the Bible, are all changing. The list is endless. If you are not experiencing Mandela effect, then everything seems fine to you. Interactions with others experiencing the quantum shift phenomenon determine there are 3 to 4, maybe more, realities converging here. Convergence, DC Comics! That's fucking creepy. Some say this is due. Now you're going to enjoy this one. I don't know if you'll enjoy it. It's kind of freaky. Some say this is due, and I've heard this before, some say this is due to a catastrophic event in our former realities. There are many theories why those of us were spared, myself included. Spared the catastrophe, but we cannot deny we are here in this new reality. We do not know why a matrix-like phenomenon exists in this reality. We only know that this reality is in a constant flux. That's meaning new people with the Mandela effect, people who experience this quantum shift phenomenon. Mandela effect, I say Mandela effect, it's also quantum effect. Folks that don't know the Mandela effect, what that is, as many of us that have this effect, we actually believe that Nelson Mandela died in prison. We remember him being in prison in the late 80s, reading about him. But in the early 90s, we remember Nelson Mandela dying in this reality. Or no, in our reality. But in this reality, we know Nelson Mandela, of course, he becomes president of South Africa, and he dies in 2013. Now, also in this reality, if you Google it, there is a history book. There is a residual, I say residue actually, residue, aka residue of something from that old reality that I remember. And it is a print book that shows that he died. The date is 1991, I want to say, maybe 91 or 93 of residue. And residue means, even though the historic event has changed, there's still things out there that prove that those the old memories, all of us share, aka the folks that have woken up, those old memories, they actually evidence residue that they still are in this altered reality, this altered state of memory or mind. So, we only know that this reality is in constant flux, constantly changing. Quantum memories influencing reality. If we accept merging realities as dynamic, the dominant memory imprint, plurality memory set, the plurality memory set. That means plural, multiple memories set in at the same time, will determine which reality prevails at any particular moment. That means the convergence of these multiple memories. They converge for us, and us Mandela effect folks, we remember both, but the people that are already here experiencing their own realities, it will overwrite their existing memory to where they think nothing of it. Nothing's happened. They're just going about their business. Almost if a higher power, or maybe even artificial intelligence, or CERN, or the portal, the Mandela effect portals, if they open up quantum tunneling, it could be an endless amount of theories, will just overwrite their memories because they don't have the tinnitus to block that out. When you hear that sound, they don't have that sound to block it out. And they're able to tell what is real from their original reality and what is altered, aka in this new current reality. Now I'm kind of adding that along as I read this. Now the dominant memory imprint, like I said, it will determine which reality prevails at any particular moment. The memories of those not included with that memory set, the plural memory set, may be numerically higher. This may help explain the residual evidence, which is influenced by those not of the plurality memory set. That residue is still out there. Okay? People and things indigenous to this reality are subject to being altered. So, with each alteration to reality in conjunction with the simultaneous butterfly effect, the memories and things indigenous to this reality are updated to match the new reality. Those not experiencing the quantum shift phenomenon seem to remain oblivious. Like, for us with the Mandela effect, quantum shift, we see all these changes going around every day. We research them on Google. We talk to our friends that also share the same memories that we all had back in the day. We talk about those things, and we lift each other up, and we believe in each other, because so many people that don't believe in the Mandela effect, they're going to think you're crazy. Especially when I talk about things changing in the Bible. A lot of Christians, Christian brothers, they think I'm just insane, or they think I'm lying, or they think I'm stupid, stuff like that, because it's always been the same as far as they can tell. But that's the thing. They're oblivious to things like this because their minds and Anthony Patch on the Kev Baker Show, they've even said the word psyops, where they're filling their head with memories. Now, like I've said multiple times before, we do live in a digital world. You know, you have your phones on you all the time, social media, Facebook, CNN.com, all the news, Wikipedia, the history. It's all online. Now, what is one thing that can alter things that are on these low-end piece of shit computers? That's quantum computers. Quantum computers, eerily, when you stand next to a quantum computer, a 6x6 cube, maybe a little taller, stand next to one of these quantum computers, you put your ear up to a quantum computer, and these computers run so cold in temperature because they run so hot. You got to cool these things down to really cold temperatures. That if you put your ear up to these quantum computers, these D-Wave computers, it eerily sounds like a heartbeat. People in the physicist, quantum physics industry have even mentioned that it could sound like an eerie heartbeat, or even a altar to an alien god. This is Gordy Rose from D-Wave. A lot of you don't know D-Wave. D-Wave does their computers in qubits. I don't have all of the scientific mumbo jumbo, but say for instance, back in the day, we used to remember dial-up modems. Some of us remember the 2400 baud, 4800 baud, the 9600 baud, the 14.4, 28.8, 56K baud modems. In quantum, there was the 512 qubit, the 1028 qubit, the 2056 qubit computer. And the 2056 qubit computer, D-Wave has sold those out. Before, they were only doing their, a lot of these companies, I'm going to give you the names of these companies that are using these quantum computers. And inside these quantum computers, they are also not only where these quantum computers can talk to other quantum computers in alternate realities or parallel Earths, new DC, New 52, parallel Earths, sliders, whatever. But the quantum computers can talk to other computers in parallel realities. Now, the realities aren't like Earth 1, where Green Lantern's Alan Scott, you know, things like that. But it's more so like the Flash TV show, where, you know, but not as different. Like, say I'm talking to you about Mandela effect right now. Well, in the Earth 2 or Earth 3 or the parallel Earth, I'm talking about the same stuff, probably most likely Mandela effect, but maybe I'm doing it without the beanie on, or maybe I don't have Dr. Pepper in here and I might have water. It's very minuscule stuff. You know, behind me, you can't see my arcade machine, but maybe Galaga spelled different. You know, something like that, real minuscule. But these computers, these quantum computers, can actually solve problems, computer problems, a lot quicker, because not only are they talking to other quantum computers, not only in this reality, aka all across, if they're hooked up to the internet, they're talking to each other, because that's how they answer their problems faster, but they're also talking to alternate realities, parallel realities. Another thing about these computers, I lost my train of thought. Jesus, there's just so much to talk about here. But companies are using these computers. You know how our current computers, whether it be, if you remember, 286, 386, 486, 586, which was the Pentium one, or even the quad processors we have today, they are binary. There's zeros and ones. They're off and on. Either 0 is on or the 1 is on. And you have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, but they're always alternating. Okay? 0 or 1, binary. Well, with a quantum computer, everything is on at the same time. It's not waiting to process the information because everything's on at the same time. It's not a 0, 1 or an on-off. It's just on, talking to other D-Wave computers, talking to other computers in alternate realities, parallel realities. So these computers are a lot faster. And the more advanced these computers get, the more advanced the artificial intelligence will get inside these computers themselves. Folks like NASA, folks like CIA, Lockheed Martin, Google, Amazon.com, they all have the D-Wave computer. Now, they had one that was running the 1000 qubit. Now, Gordy Rose and the D-Wave folks have got their newer computers out. They've got their 2000 qubit. Now, fans, listen to this. This is scary. CERN has always used the D-Wave computers as well to run their experiments, whether it be smashing two particles of matter together to try to recreate the Big Bang Theory. And why do they want to do that? They want to know how that matter comes together. What's the glue that holds everything together? That's matter, right? They want to know how that was created, aka the Big Bang Theory, or aka God creating, the world. They want to know how God did that. That's why the Higgs boson is also known as the God particle, because when they smash it all together, go figure, it's called the God particle, right? Because they want to know the particles God used to create the universe. Basically, it's what science has always done. 1931, I just showed it in the last Great Legend show. The movie Frankenstein. Scientists want to play God. And what did Dr. Henry Frankenstein do? Well, he brought the monster to life through electricity. What does a computer take to run? Electricity. See? It all matches together. And if you look at the bigger picture, if you have the Mandela effect, and you can look at all of the theories and never shoot down theories, because we don't know what causes it, but the answers are out there, okay? And when us folks know the answers, that's when those people start changing the questions. Or that's when God, the guy that created the universe, or that's what I believe, that's when he starts changing. Just when CERN thinks they got it, that's when God's going to change it all up on them, CERN's end game, some of you may not know this, CERN's end game is to use, let's go back to it. They actually, CERN, Gordy Rose, D-Wave, they got the, CERN is the only entity that has the 4,000 qubit computer. This is going to be the computer that is going to be opening up something known as the bottomless pit, which is mentioned in the book of Revelation, which will spill out demonic entities from that spiritual dimension known as hell. These demonic entities will take over bodies, will possess bodies, and we're going to get things like possibly false prophet, Antichrist. We're going to get all kinds of stuff because, folks, we're living in end times. And sometimes, a lot of times, I will get a little biblical when I'm talking Mandela effect. So if you're not a believer of, religions and everything, just kind of putting it out there for you. If you look at CERN's logo, you'll see 3 sixes. These sixes are all overlapping each other. They may be mirrored, they may be rotated, but it's 3 sixes. Remember what I told you earlier in the show? www, World Wide Web, was created at CERN. W in Hebrew is 6. Outside of CERN headquarters, we have the god of Shiva, the destroyer of worlds, aka Apollyon. We have all of that. We have all the facts, and we know they're doing bad shit there. But for some reason, just like the wolf in sheep's clothing, they pull the wool over everyone's eyes. Maverick Freelance calls these people sheeple. They go in a line and they walk down the line not knowing anything around them is being altered. They just keep doing what they do, checking their phones each day, getting on Facebook each day. Rebel Gaming knows what I'm talking about. Fucking hell. He posts a crap ton of posts. Geez Louise. Daily. It's getting to be there. It's getting there, people. And that pretty much is going to conclude what I want to talk to you about tonight. Mandela effect. And these were just theories from Quantum Reality. The YouTube user, Quantum Reality is his name. And getting these theories out in the open is his game. And of course, I ad-libbed a lot of my stuff in there as well. So I hope you enjoyed the show tonight on the Mandela effect and theories from quantum reality. And like Mark 4 says in the comments, he says when they bang these two, and this is really funny. I'm going to give a shout out to Brian from Infrared Media. He sent me a horrible video, Brian. If you ever send me that again, I'm going to just unfollow you again. But when they smash matter together, it creates something called antimatter. And antimatter, it spreads, okay? But it's self-contained. They've contained antimatter because they've done tests on antimatter. These are tests they don't tell you about. The test, they put a person in a room with a lot of the antimatter particles. What happens to this person? They think suicidal thoughts. They think violent thoughts. They think sinful thoughts. And with antimatter, a lot of people say, okay, if the Big Bang Theory occurred, blah, 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 and matter is all around us, where's the antimatter? Where's all that antimatter? Because, what is it? For every electron, there is one neutron or whatever, you know what I'm saying? For every one positive, there's always a negative. And the negative to the positive antimatter, the negative is the positive matter. The negative is antimatter. Where is that antimatter? I'll tell you where it is. It's in the spiritual dimension. You ever seen the movie Insidious when Dalton goes through the astral plane? Those demonic entities or those bad spiritual entities, they're on that spiritual plane. They're on that astral plane. The astral plane for me is kind of like what I tend to believe as the middle ground. Not up in heaven. You haven't traveled up that dimension up to heaven, and you haven't gone to hell, but you're stuck in the middle. Okay? It's for, ghost hunters. You know that show with Nick, always wears a black shirt. It's that middle ground, okay? It's that spiritual plane where, they do the tests on ghosts and they do the spirit box and all that kind of stuff, and they do the UV and the infrared and all that on ghosts. That's on that astral plane. That's on the spiritual plane, but it's not heaven. It's not hell. It's just the folks that haven't crossed over to heaven, the folks that haven't crossed over to hell. All of that, that's what we can't see. Remember how I said 90% of matter and all that stuff, we can't see the chemical makeup of what creates that. With our eyes, ears, feelings, the five senses, we can't see that. The reason we can't see it is a lot of that stuff is also in the parallel reality, the spiritual reality. So not only do you have to look at what you see outside, you have to believe in that spiritual reality. You have to have, every human has a soul, okay? People that practice astral projection, and I don't practice it because if God wanted me to do that, he'll let me know when I die and leave, my soul leaves this earthly body to be up in heaven in eternity with Jesus Christ. He's going to have me leave. But if you do astral projection, your soul will be tethered to your earthly body. Now, I've researched this. I've never done this, but I find it very interesting, but it's something I don't want to do. So I don't want to meet any of these demonic entities that haven't crossed over either to heaven or hell. Most likely, they just haven't crossed over to hell yet. Or they're a sad ghost that maybe haven't gone to heaven yet. They're hanging around here. So in the weeks to come, we may lighten the mood. Our next video, we may just look at different changes in this current reality. Quite a few Back to the Future changes, which is my favorite movie trilogy of all time. Until I see this new Planet of the Apes movie. But we're going to look at just a wide variety of things as we further explore the Mandela effect on the Great Legend Show. Everyone in the chat, I want to thank you so much for being here tonight in the chat. Everybody here, Mr. Nice Guy, while they were busy calling us monkeys and trying to cheat ancient prophecy, all the changes have come, and they are hurrying to do anything to hold their power. And that's what it is. You can also look at New World Order, Illuminati, One World Government. Let me tell you, fans, just this last week, Macron, the French president, said some scary stuff. Now, keep in mind, he was married to an older woman, a lot older than he was. So he's influenced a lot by older people. Being influenced, the people that are influenced easily by others, they don't have the strongest willpower. Well, he said something that he's going to rule France like the Roman god of Jupiter. Now, what kind of person says shit like that? Really? If that doesn't creep me out with Illuminati, New World Order shit, One World Government shit, I don't know what does. But like I said, a lot of speculators out there, not the idiots that speculate over pieces of fucking paper, Amazing Spider-Man 361, but a lot of speculators out there are actually speculating that he could be front runner for the Antichrist. So keep that in mind. Just keep your, and William Thorpe's good about this, keep your eyes and your ears open, and then just be careful out there, you know. But keep your senses open, because you have been awoken to something far greater than all these other people. They don't see these changes, you know. And if you're a believer and you believe Jesus came down and died on the cross for your sins, if you're a believer in religion, then you can see things even a little bit more, because it's stuff you've been told about all your life. All those times you went to Sunday school and read your Bible and things like that. Things are changing right before our eyes. And it's, for me, I'm not afraid. I'm not angry or any of that stuff. I'm not afraid because I know where I'm going. Okay? And I know my beliefs. And it's a very exciting time. So anyone out there, I don't want you to get afraid of this stuff. It's nothing to be afraid of, you know. It's nothing to be afraid of. That's all I got to say. I'm so glad again. It's because of you is why I do what I do. And I want to thank everyone for their comments. I know I didn't check on a lot tonight, but I will go back over the comments and I'll be able to see them. And if you have anything else to add, or you want to get in touch with me to talk about any of the topics we talked about tonight, the Mandela effect, theories from our good friend QuantumReality, who gave us some great topics of discussion tonight, you just let me know and I'll be here for you. Fans, this is the Great Legend saying peace out. God bless.